How's it going, my friends? So, I was part of a wonderful class tonight on Zoom with some great people, Jews who really care about the nation and about Israel, and it got me thinking because the subject of October 7th came up, and we were talking about how everybody woke up after that, and a lot of people woke up, not everybody, and people started thinking about their Judaism. People who weren't previously connected at all or very little started thinking about it, and and we were talking about just the aspect of thinking positively despite everything that's going on, and despite all of our kind of immediate trauma from this event, and how we're still kind of reeling from it, right? And we're trying to think of positive things as opposed to all the negative stuff that's going on. And it got me thinking, one important component. And the person giving the class said that it's sad that we woke up as a result of a patch, as a result of Hashem giving us a smack. It shouldn't have to be this way. It shouldn't have to be that people, for example, say Tehillim, say Psalms when somebody's sick. Why don't we say Psalms when somebody is, when we have like a happy thing happen, right? We say Tehillim as like a Thanksgiving, so to speak. So it got me thinking about what was going on right before October 7th. What was going on specifically in Israel right before October 7th? It was probably the worst sinat chinam, the worst instance of baseless hatred in the Jewish nation since the destruction of the Second Temple. It was literally something that was probably going to cause the state of Israel, and literally by extension the society in Israel, not just the state, not just the government, not just the foundations of the state, but the actual society in Israel to tear apart into two. In reality, it's not a 50-50 split. It would be like an 80-20 split. 80% people who believe this, and then the 20%, the minority, but very loud minority, believe that. I mean, 15% at the maximum, right? But it was very, very, awful, and to the point where, people were, interrupting Yom Kippur prayers with, blatant just disrespect. And it was crazy, folks. You probably remember, if you're following Israel at that time, September and even, end of September, all of September, all of August. It started on Tisha B'Av, actually, incidentally, and it went until Yom Kippur. And even through just before Simchat Torah, it went through Sukkot as well. And it was horrible. And then October 7th, Hashem, essentially, you could blame, politicians, certain military people, but Hashem, folks, you have to understand, nothing happens unless Hashem gives his haskama on it. His approval, his stamp of approval in Shemayim. Hashem gave a stamp of approval, and October 7th happened. As hard as that is to say, it doesn't happen without Hashem's stamp of approval. We know that. And the minute it happened, besides me screaming about and going crazy about the military apparatus, about Israel's deep state and all the rest of it, when I got over that aspect of it, I said to myself, Hashem, I can't believe you allowed this. I know you allowed this. You put your stamp of approval, so to speak, approval on it. Not approval, but endorsement, I guess. I don't know. But I said, Hashem, I can't believe you did this. I really, after all, I thought we were done with this whole, pogrom stuff. I thought this kind of stuff was not for our generation, but apparently our generation has to also have one of these. And I was actually surprised at Hashem. I wasn't surprised, but I was surprised. If that makes any sense. But then I thought to myself, well, what else could he have done to stop us from tearing each other apart, right? From tearing the country apart, from tearing Israel apart. So it happened. The country very quickly united for the most part. All right. Then we went into Gaza. Now we're in Lebanon, folks. But look what's happening now, again, in Israel. Once again, they're trying to do it again. We have the Attorney General of Israel, I forget her name, it's a lady, and she basically is forcing Netanyahu to be in court, the Prime Minister of Israel, in court 3 days a week, 6 hours a day, so basically 18 hours a week, during a war that we're fighting on how many fronts? Lebanon, Syria, Gaza, Yemen, Iran, Iraq, like Jordan. There's guys coming in via Jordan. 7, and in Judea and Samaria itself, my friends, at least 8. Somebody said 10. Okay, we're fighting a war on 7 or 8 fronts here. We're ready for for over a year. And so, guys, can you imagine? The Attorney General of America would force any president to appear in court during a war where the American, mainland, the continental 48 states are being attacked. God forbid. Think about that. And to counter that, we have Simcha Rothman and a few other people in the government, the guy who actually initiated the judicial reform thing before October 7th. He's trying to get rid of this lady, to basically have her removed from office. My friends, honestly, I hope Hashem doesn't have to do another one of these. I hope it doesn't even get to that point. I hope that, honestly, I don't hope that something cataclysmic happens, but I hope Hashem does something where he forces us to just rise to a particular challenge, right? And to take our focus off of, once again, the internal squabble. Folks, even among those 15 or 20% in Israel who, want to see Bibi removed, who want to see this and who want to see that, there are actual patriots of the country. There are people who do not want to see the country, destroyed, dismantled, and what have you. Yeah, they may have differences in how they want Israeli society to be structured, but when push comes to shove, they don't want it dismantled. Yeah, there's even a smaller element in Israel that wants the whole state to just be dismantled piece by piece. But there are people in Israel who don't necessarily want the current prime minister to be in power, but who want Israel to remain, a state, to remain alive and well, and all the rest of it. And they do not want it to come apart at the seams. They do not. I truly believe that. So, I really hope that Hashem has rachamim on us, my friends. That, first of all, we don't get to that point that we got to in, September 2023, end of September, to where it was just not gonna, it was just so awful, it was just so horrific what was going on in Israeli society, right? And God forbid if it does get to some kind of fever pitch, that Hashem, somehow wakes us up, but not with a potch, but with a kiss. Because I don't think we can go through another one of these again. Somebody said in the talk that we were having, and a lot of people said this, that the attack on October 7th was supposed to be multi-front, and it was supposed to be even worse than what it was. And because Hamas got greedy, and they were so focused on, the Nova Party and what have you, they did not focus on other things that they were supposed to be focused on. Baruch Hashem, Hezbollah did not participate, Baruch Hashem. Iran did not fully participate, Baruch Hashem. All these entities that were supposed to go along with Hamas simultaneously did not. It was supposed to be even worse than what it was. But with that said, guys, I still would not call it a kiss, right? I would call it a relative miracle, relatively speaking, compared to what could have been, but I wouldn't call it a kiss. My friends, I really, really hope that, all these machinations with the Attorney General and with the court case and all these things do not come to a head. And I really hope that, we as Klal Yisrael, we continue to grow and to learn and to connect to who we really are and to connect to Hashem. And to, and Hanukkah's coming up, I really hope that the light of Hanukkah and the what's called the Ruach, the spirit of the Maccabees, overrides, the Hellenists, the Erev Rav, the spirit of that, right? And even the people who we think are like, God forbid, Erev Rav, I really hope that it turns out that most of them are not actually Erev Rav, that most of them are just misguided, and then, they also wake up. The people that I said who are patriots of Israel, but who are not exactly religious or not exactly for religion. I hope that those folks, that Hashem opens their eyes. I was talking to my friend today about people, who Hashem opens their eyes and people who Hashem doesn't open their eyes and all this kind of stuff. I really hope Hashem opens their eyes, guys. And that's basically it. Because we cannot have another, a repeat of October 7th. We can't even have something that's like 10% of it or 1% of it. We've had these attacks where entire families, God forbid, this happened to, just like one family, not like a whole kibbutz, but like we've had the Itamar attack. We've had many of these attacks, right? Where some infiltrator came into a town and he did what he did. We had like bombings of pizza, Sparrows. This is like 23 years ago. We had a Dolphinarium attack. We had this attack. We had an attack in Netanya. Guys, I can, I'm just naming the big ones, right? On Pesach in Netanya in the 90s, we had a Dolphinarium, the nightclub in Tel Aviv. We had bus attacks. We had, the Har Nof, the synagogue in Har Nof with the rabbis, 2014, I want to say. We had a lot of these, like, quote-unquote infamous attacks. Famous, infamous. The Three Boys in Hebron, where that was actually the last time the whole country got together, to unite. So, my friends, but no matter the size of the attacks, no matter the scope of the attacks, I don't think we can go through any more of it, guys. We just had a rabbi in Dubai, and that reverberated through the whole Jewish world. One rabbi, one person. Every Jewish life is precious. So I think we should all, for those of us who are not awake, we should wake up. Those of us who already woke up, we should keep growing, keep going, keep learning. And guys, everything I'm saying, I'm talking to myself. And Bezrat Hashem, everything will go in and resolve itself in a positive way with Achava, and as Rabbi Pinchas Winston likes to say, hopefully we're going to have a Geula Berachamim. We're going to have a redemption by way of mercy, or with mercy, as opposed to Geula in another way, which you don't want to know. You don't want to see, and you don't want to know, because the prophecy is right about something very, very scary. And we have a choice, my friends. We can have it that way, or we can have it, so to speak, the easy way. It's really, really up to us. Alright, guys. Shabbat Shalom. Talk to you soon.